You're listening to the RMPodcast, the official podcast of Red Moon Productions. Here are your hosts, Brandon Davidson, Keith Cheatham, and Sean Sebastian. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to yet again another episode of the Red Moon Podcast. Live every Tuesday night right here on YouTube, Facebook, and all bunch of other streaming podcast platforms. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host, Sean Sebastian, and Cheatham. We've got a treat for everybody this week. Well, for ourselves. We're going to enjoy a nice brewski, and we're going to tell you what we think of it, to tell you whether or not you should head to North Carolina and pick up some of this brew. Little micro brews going down.
I like micro brew.
Oh, gotta love it. I
like bananas.
I would say I'm trying to figure out how the best way. Former, employer, former colleague, former mentor, for however many different ways you could just say a friend that I helped out with their website. Mr. Craig Hoffman brought us back as payment for some help that I gave him. This fine brewski. This is it's from North Carolina. What is this? Appalachian. Appalachian. I don't even know how you say that.
Appalachia.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
It's just an H.
It's
Appalachia. Saison IPA. So this is from the Wicked Weed Brewing
I think that's
Company.
session.
Saison. It's
Is it?
Saison.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it Saison?
Not session.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've
Maybe
never heard
it
of
is
I've never
session.
heard of Saison.
Saison is it's a brew.
Session.
It may be session.
I can't get
maybe
the
you
chat.
did
The
spell-
chat's not here, man.
But let's all take a swig of our brew and let's have a little taste and see what you all think. I'm gonna see. It's got a good head on it.
I almost grabbed my Gatorade. That's not what I want.
You don't want that. It tastes like Gatorade.
Ooh, that's good.
That is good.
That's very good.
It's very light.
Yeah.
Well,
But very crisp.
I thought it would be when he read the
I like it.
flavor profile on the box about it being citrusy and refreshing. I was like, it's gonna be a lighter IPA.
Yeah, I was gonna say it.
Because
Definitely
it is. I mean, I do agree. It's exactly what the box said it would taste like.
Yeah.
But it's IPAs are usually a little bit
more bitter.
Yeah,
You know,
well, 'cause the
hoppier.
hops. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Which
so.
that's what I told
Well-
him. I said I liked hoppy beer.
Yeah.
So he got a bunch of IPAs, which is fine.
They're all
He
IPA,
probably just
yeah.
went to like a
This does have
microbrew or
hops to it. It reminds me of the 80. Was it 84
Yeah. Oh, the
or
1984.
85? Which
I think
one's
it's
Wonder
85.
Woman?
Because Wonder Woman 84.
Okay, so it was 1985.
It was
Is the beer?
1985,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's kind of like not exactly, but it is like lighter and more refreshing, like that one.
It
was,
is.
so.
It's crisp. It's like, I wouldn't want to drink it after cutting the grass on a hot day, even though that's what a lot of people say. Like, it's like, yeah, that's Bud Light. That's for, because it's watered down. This, though, does give me that feeling of, man, nice hot summer day. Drink this.
You wouldn't want to drink it after cutting.
I wouldn't, because I think anybody who talks about drinking a beer after cutting the grass, I would
I
just
drink
vomit.
beer after cutting the grass.
I don't.
It is. It's refreshing.
It's not to me. I'm already dehydrated. I need water. I
That's
don't
your
need
fault.
beer.
Stay hydrated while you're cutting grass. I drink water the whole time I'm cutting.
I do. I drink Gatorade, but my gosh, I don't drink that much.
I'm just
My
saying.
yard's bigger too,
Just saying.
and just doing a lot. It's like I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna take a shower, and maybe when I sit down ready for dinner, I'll have a nice glass of this Session IPA. I'm gonna just say Session. It's spelt Session,
I don't
but
know.
no, it's definitely good. Very good first brew. We actually got like 8 more of these beers to try from North Carolina. So we're gonna review
There
and
we
judge
go.
each one.
Chat's
I mean,
working now.
oh, good. Do you all have? I mean, we don't have a rating scale for beer. I wonder if we should invent one on the spot, because we're gonna have 9 of these to judge. This being the first.
What rating scales do beer aficionados use?
I don't
wanna
know.
I know cigars are like rated like 96. Like they have like a percentage.
they have
To
100.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
feel like
wondering
beers
with
are
beer.
something similar, but I don't really
Wow,
know.
he's enjoying it over there.
I'd say we do it.
There we
you
go.
know,
I don't have one yet.
Just like the Matt Damon scale, I think the beer one should be something
I
kind
like
of funny,
beer.
lighthearted.
Well, he has his water scale, and Matt Damon has his I like beer scale.
we
Bel-
could
Belches?
just we could do like from
Skis?
Bud
Give this
Light
one.
to see, but the thing is, we know Bud Light's like low bottom of the scale.
It's not the worst.
We don't know what we would consider probably our favorite beer, and that would be subjective.
I would put like Bud Light at like
I like beer.
1 or 2, but
Yeah,
you got to put
yeah.
something like Rolling Rock at 0.
Oh gosh, yeah. PBR. I was gonna
I
say.
told
yeah.
Sean about the Thunder over Louisville thing we went to with Neil, and how all they had was PBR and Rolling Rock, and I had heartburn.
Oh yeah.
The next day.
I mean,
was
Rolling
terrible.
Rock is like drinking a loogie.
I mean, it was
what it's
like
spit and swallow.
They,
It's disgusting.
I mean, it was Geek Squad, and I mean, I get it. It's cheap. You can get
That's what it was.
you can
It
get a
was-
30
it was college kids buying
You can
beer.
get a 30
That's all it
case of
was.
PBR for
Yeah.
like $10. I'm being serious. So it's like,
Bush Light.
yeah,
That's the beer you
Keystone.
drink to get drunk.
yeah,
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is
So it was
sad
just
because
coolers.
it's not even like high alcohol.
No.
It
But you
tastes
can
like
drink a bunch.
piss.
But you can
Cheap.
drink a bunch of them. That's
That's
it.
true.
And there was nothing but Rolling Rock and PBR.
Well,
in
that's
those
when
coolers.
You drink 4 of these, you're gonna be.
Well, I was gonna say that's
You're
when
gonna
you
be
know
feeling good.
when college kids are like, "Oh, I can hold down 8 beers." It's like, no, you can hold down 2 real ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 8 Rolling Rocks. You just probably have to
I
go
tell
to
you
the
what,
hospital
man,
after
that Elysium space dust,
Oh, that's good stuff.
like
That's the
one of those,
Yeah.
and I'm done.
Yep.
Like that's like 9%.
That zombie dust. I love
Zombie
oh,
dust is
zombie
hot.
dust is good.
Yeah.
I like zombie dust.
That's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is a first good one.
I like it.
On our beer run. We've got a huge pack show. Oscar Noms 2022
I know.
are out. We're not
I
going to
used-
go through all of them.
I
Don't
used to get
worry.
excited about that too, and
Yeah,
now
not
I'm just
anymore.
like,
What happened?
Yep. The
Hollywood.
Golden Globes,
Hollywood
Hollywood, all the different woke, cultural, significant institutions out there.
Neil Young. He just ruins everything.
We're going to be the one podcast, except for right now, that doesn't bring up Rogan. So I could just say
I
that.
didn't mention him. I just
No, I
mentioned
know,
Neil
I know,
Young.
but it just revolves around that.
No, yeah. I mean, well,
controversy.
that's not our topic. I mean,
It's not.
Hollywood. He is a celebrity, but
If it continues the way it is, which cancel culture has been a part of our culture now
Yeah.
for
we
the
talk
last
about it
several
when
years.
it's the main headline
Yeah.
in relation to Hollywood. But yeah,
But we
No.
do have some major news with regard to not only the Oscar noms, and we're just going to kind of go through what we think our surprises and snubs are.
kind of our opinions of the
Yeah.
noms. We're not going to go through each category and read them off like we used to, just because that gets
It's
long-winded
boring.
and boring.
plus, we still have our Oscar prediction show
yeah,
where we
there's-
give
there's,
that kind
there's
of...
no need for that nonsense.
No.
But we do have other interesting things in the news besides Oscar noms. I mean, and a great movie. I mean, not only are we reviewing this bastion,
One that will
of-
be nominated next year.
Yes,
we know.
this bastion of cerebral greatness from Roland Emmerich. I mean, and he has.
I mean, original beyond belief.
but he's in the news too because not only did he make this movie, but obviously him being such an auteur of cinema, he had things to say about other films. So we got
Yeah.
all kinds of great.
Yeah,
I was
we
gonna
gotta
say,
get, we gotta get into this.
We do, because before we even talk about Roland Emmerich, we've got to see the genius that is
Yeah.
Moonfall. Here is our review.
The scope of cinema is ever-changing. New fads and genres become popular and eventually decline. What cinema looks like each decade is often different. What was popular in the 90s isn't what's popular now. But one thing that hasn't changed since the 90s is Roland Emmerich's ability to make terrible disaster movies. Yes, it's been a while, but perhaps not long enough. Roland Emmerich has returned to bring us Moonfall, a film that combines the worst of his disaster films with the worst of his sci-fi films. And if you're looking for unoriginal mediocrity in a movie, then Moonfall does not disappoint. Starring Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry, and John Bradley, Moonfall is about the moon falling, or more specifically, about it falling out of orbit, which of course causes global disaster for our planet. When a mysterious alien tech attacks a NASA crew in 2011, the story is swept under the rug. Now, in present day, conspiracy theorist and megastructurist Casey Houseman, played by John Bradley, discovers the moon is out of orbit, but no one will believe him until it's nearly too late. Now racing against time to discover what is happening to the moon and reverse its fall from orbit, John will team up with Brian Harper, played by Patrick Wilson, and Joe Fowler, portrayed by Halle Berry, two of the astronauts a part of the 2011 attack. What they discover on the moon, however, will change humanity forever. Moonfall sounds like a silly premise, and it is. But sometimes dumb ideas can make fun movies. And with a little clever writing, even far-fetched ideas can seem feasible. Roland Emmerich, however, is not capable of clever writing, and his dumb ideas have long gone past being fun. Moonfall has very little redeeming qualities. The characters are generic and their motivations doubly so. They lack any depth to make them sympathetic, with relationships even just popping into being and emotional scenes likewise existing for characters that no depth or emotional relevance has been established for. Dialogue is horrendous, and every scenario is lazily brought into being. The best example of this is a scene where Patrick Wilson randomly hands his son a gun as he prepares to launch himself into space, because a 9mm is the most useful tool one can have against falling moon rock. Don't worry though, the gun comes into play later, but rather than have the character come across the gun organically, it is purposely forced upon him, specifically for future scenes. This is the entire movie. Nothing happens organically. Even when attempting to explain the phenomenon around them, the pseudoscience rattled off by the leads is laughably illogical. But wait, these movies aren't about clever dialogue and accurate science, they are about spectacle. Well, that's a nice thought, but even Moonfall lacks this for 3/4 of the movie, only getting to the last quarter of the film before the massive CGI onslaught of chaos and action reigns supreme. But even when we finally get the spectacle, it's lackluster compared to even past Roland Emmerich films. It's nothing we haven't seen before, and the most impressive bits are in the trailers. Even the CGI itself, while not terrible, has plenty of moments that look fake. So, no solid story or characters and no fun action. What does this leave? A bland practice in mediocrity replete with story beats stolen from better sci-fi properties. Yeah, some of it is laughably bad, which provides some entertainment, and you can at least follow the story and characters even if the story is stupid. It's never boring, I'll give it that, just bad. So very bad. I give Moonfall 1.5 out of 4 stars.
Sean's surprised.
Wow.
You were thinking just one?
I was thinking 1.
Just
I was
one
really
star?
surprised you gave it that extra.
I gave it an extra half because, like you said,
It's
it was
entertaining.
You said you said before during the review, it's not as bad as 2012, and I thought the same thing. I was like, I'll give it the half star just because even though the plot is convoluted and stupid, it does go from one moment. It's like
Sean's like, no.
it's like you can follow it along, and the characters are their characters. I'm like, I just didn't think it was as bad as some of his others, so I gave him that extra half star. But I was like, it's still a bad movie. It's still terrible.
Yeah.
No doubt.
No, that's true.
I would.
It's horrible.
Well, Sean, what would you go ahead and give it?
I gave it 1.
Yeah, 1.
Yeah. But I mean, again, when this comes out streaming, I'll watch it again because it is laughable and it's so.
I'll probably never watch
His
this
films,
movie.
his films defy the laws of nature, like
Oh, yeah.
everything, physics, everything. Like it
I
is
bet he would argue that
absolutely
he
terrible.
does- I bet he would argue that he looks into everything. And
This
makes sure
is
it's sound.
like no,
Oh, it's not.
No, the Fast and Furious movies are freaking Goodwill Hunting compared to.
Oh
these
yes,
movies.
yes. them launching themselves into space
Yes.
is far more
This is-
believable than
yes.
than-
Yes.
I mean,
Magnets.
as close
Like-
as close as
Magnets.
Well, that
is
was the
better than
excuse
this.
in F9.
as close as
God.
they show the moon getting to the Earth, it's like we would have all been dead way
before
before
that.
it got that
Yes.
close.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and
Right.
that's the problem with the movie is even just he constantly throws out this one line through his character that Sam from Game of Thrones. I forget.
Right. I
John
don't-
Bradley.
John Bradley, and he constantly says, we're not dealing with the physics of your all's thinking. Like I've thought outside the box and I've figured it
Well,
out.
because
and it's because I thought outside
the moon
box.
is denser and has more
Right.
mass, but I'm like, okay, that would just mean we're gonna die even faster now. Like I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, if it's a white dwarf in there and there's any part exposed, it's caving in. It's sucking us
dead,
all in.
yeah.
Gravity wave got
Yeah,
me.
the gravity
Big
wave.
time.
Yeah.
It's a big ass gravity wave. is
He
what it
said-
says
They even
in the
called
movie.
it
He
that.
said,
Yeah.
we're underwater. Then how does the rocket working? It's like if you got engulfed in water, because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
flying.
Water
things.
puts
We're
fire
underwater.
out.
It's like I'm pretty sure you all aren't making it to the moon now.
Yeah. That was just so bad.
Well, and even you brought it up in the review, just the contrived nature of like certain plot beats,
Oh.
like with the gun. It's just so laughably bad.
They're just-
you immediately
Yeah.
know the moment they introduce it. Okay, this is coming up later
Yes.
for a
It's
certain
so
purpose.
forced and
Yep.
so random. It's like he's giving him this gun because he's going to need the gun later, rather than it feeling organic.
Yep.
Everything is forced. or it just springs out of nowhere, like this weird, like kind of relationship they hint at with the one Asian woman and his son. That like by the end of the movie, she's like, I gotta go back for him. It's like, wait, are they like love interests now? It was so weird.
No, and then
just
not
popped
just
out of
that
nowhere.
relationship, but the relationship between America and China in this movie is hilarious.
They love each other.
No.
We're gonna talk about that a little bit.
But it was
We
just
are.
like
It
this
is-
was insane.
It is
like
funny how most of our
you said it in the film, it was Chinese propaganda.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Like,
that's
I mean,
exactly
it is insane.
Well, no doubt there were moments that were specific. We all noticed
it was
the producers of the
co-produced
film.
by a Chinese
Yes,
company.
But it's crazy the amount and the extent that they go to try to saturate to try to. I don't want to say saturate because it's not that bad, but there are definitely key points where they're trying to show you the Chinese.
you can tell
influence that the film
they're
has.
making sure that
Yes.
this movie will get a release in China, which it is fun. Like you said, we'll talk about more later. It is. I just love how everything in this episode kind of connects to each other.
Yeah.
Other than the Oscars, we have to do that.
I forgot honestly
Well,
until
they
yesterday.
suck just like this movie. Yeah.
But yeah, it is crazy, and just even the dialogue. I mean, the last scene of the movie is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
When she's like, "The moon's going to help us," and she lifts this tree. I was like, "Good,
Forgot about that.
good writing does not
It
require
lifts the
you-
tree,
Yes,
but it doesn't lift them.
yes,
Yeah, that,
Like,
yes.
what is-
yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Good writing does not require you to tell you what's happening. Like
Yeah.
I visually understood because of the gravity. The gravity was helping to pull the tree up. I didn't need to be told.
But just like Sean pointed out, why in the hell is it not lifting them up?
Yeah,
They're
it would
less
lift the lighter
set-
Well,
stuff first.
Yeah.
they didn't jump. See, they had that upward momentum.
I
just
don't
pushing.
care. It's just
Yeah.
stupid. It's like Twister. In Twister, there's
Yeah.
freaking
Hey, Twister's a
semi
great
trucks
movie.
floating around, but the
They're fine.
tin cans on the ground are still sitting
Hey,
there.
hey. Now we've seen
the
that.
suck zone.
Finger a guy.
We've seen. That's true. There was an evil Bill, and I killed him.
Twister was a way better movie.
It was way better. At least there were laws of physics that we've seen where like it can destroy a house and leave a bed intact.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
actual at least some weird.
It destroyed the church in Mayfield and
There you
left
go.
all the hymnals in the pews. So
Yeah. So I mean, you
That's
sit
Christian
there-
propaganda. That did not really happen.
I told Brandon the same. It's like, listen, I understand they wanted this feel good moment, but sometimes you maybe shouldn't say things during a natural disaster.
Right.
It makes us look bad.
I don't know. The moment I see Mary's face in a grilled cheese, I'm announcing it to everybody. But no, it is quite terribly one of the worst movies that I've seen from not only Emmerich but just in general.
But it was fun.
and we knew we were going into
Oh,
it.
yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
we at all thought this was going to be something that was, freaking Citizen Kane.
No.
But it's still, it's like we've already joked about and talked about how bad the Fast and the Furious franchise has gotten, but ultimately before
this.
yeah, but that's the thing is before they really, it took them at least 8 movies to get to that point.
That's true.
Roland Emmerich just rolls them out, and he keeps thinking
Roland
that
Emmerich.
there he goes.
There he goes.
He literally thinks he's making something that's original, and it's we
know he does.
we're in to tell him he's in for a rude awakening. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not original. There's at least a dozen. We named 5, I think, sitting in the theater after the credits rolled, that of other IPs and properties that this movie ripped off, whether he knew it or not.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm sorry, but
he knew it.
we pulled out Halo, Elysium with the Ring World.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about, which Halo obviously falls in that category. They
Oh,
specifically.
it is. That one scene I said was from Noah. That is actual stock footage that Noah used.
see, I
also, like that wasn't
Oh, wow.
that wasn't filmed by.
Not surprised.
Crap. Who did Noah?
Wasn't it Ridley Scott? Didn't Ridley Scott
No,
do
no,
Noah?
No, he did. Didn't he
No.
do Exodus?
He did Exodus.
Who did? Somebody
Noah.
famous did
I
Noah.
thought
Yeah.
someone big did Noah
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, somebody big did
But that
Noah.
was actual stock CGI footage or whatever that was
Yeah.
created, and he used it in this movie too. So he didn't even use original.
Well,
of course
I mean,
not.
the news footage. I mean, that looked like it was.
It looked
was
like
straight
BLM.
from yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's from last
Looked
year.
like downtown Louisville.
It sure did. Busted out of Subway.
Darren Aronofsky.
Aronofsky.
Ah,
yeah,
Aronofsky.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did.
And then he
Noah.
did Mother right after that. Yeah. Okay. So then,
I
but
don't know
here's
what
the
happened
thing.
to him. He's
We-
crazy.
I think. I even thought
Jennifer
about.
Lawrence
Yeah, it was terrible.
happened to him.
well, that came after Noah, though. So
Right, but Mother
Noah
was when he
wasn't-
worked with.
Noah wasn't terrible.
It was bad.
It was bad, but
it
it
was
wasn't terrible.
terrible. Emma Watson was the only thing that.
Aside from the rock monsters, I thought it was okay.
No, I just thought this is going way too far. This is ridiculous. I'd rather
it's a
watch.
little
Look, the
sacrilegious.
10 Commandments.
It's Hollywood.
Just
Hollywood.
a little
What
bit
is
of
it?
blasphemy.
You know, Hollywood.
It's one of those things where you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is cool sci-fi.
Well, it is. It's based on a graphic novel. So
Yeah. That's
it
what they
is.
wanted.
Yeah, it was
But the
based
thing
on a
is
graphic novel.
they wanted to then put the actual
Like 300.
Well, no, they put that disclaimer at the beginning, and they said this is based on actual biblical text, and this is what we derived from that in our own way. And I'm like, there's no.
You didn't derive all of this
You
from
did not
biblical
try to
text.
remain
there was
faithful.
Noah, and there was an ark, and there was a flood.
Yeah.
That's the only three things they got
They got
right.
that right.
Yeah.
All I know is Emma Watson was still hot in that movie.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
still hot? She's not
Yeah.
still hot now?
Shem
is.
got to hit that.
He did, no doubt. I would have too if I was Shem.
Shem.
I said Shem.
I thought it's Shem,
Shem.
like
Shem?
Shem.
Okay, not Shem. Like you're
Not
combining
Shem.
she and him, the pronouns.
No, not I am. EM, yeah.
I think
Shem.
it should be Shem, and he should be gender neutral.
Oh,
non-binary.
maybe he was.
Shem.
I mean, they had to repopulate
just
somehow. Maybe
saying.
he got himself pregnant.
Could happen.
Then incest didn't really happen. 'cause-
And see, that's where it just got ridiculous.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, moving on. I will say this about the movie: there were about 5 different, like just sitting in the theater that we came up with that this ripped off.
Yeah.
And so for Roland Emmerich to talk about his originality and the fact that he is somehow like you said, orator of,
Well,
of
we
cinema.
haven't
destroyed
got
the earth
that's our
more times
first
than
headline.
God.
If you want to go ahead and move it, because I don't know how much more we really have to say about the movie.
True, and I think we've said enough. Don't go see it. It's not
I feel
worth
like we can move
supporting.
into the headline.
1 out of 4 stars is what I would give it as
Yeah.
well.
That's like the first headline. We're still going to be talking about it. So,
But
let's go.
before we get into the first headline, I think we should deal with the Oscars.
oh, you want to deal
We
with
should-
the?
because we're just talking about snubs, and you can go click on the link in our description below after the show, or you can go look at it. Find it, just Google it, and you can find the full list.
Here's the problem with there are like I wasn't surprised in the sense that I wasn't expecting any of these to be nominated. Like I expected all of them, especially like I told you in the past, like following Gold Derby and all their picks. I was like, oh yeah, so like. Even though I don't think some of these really deserve it, I wasn't like King Richard or Power of the Dog, which I know is highly praised. I knew they would be nominated, so none of those were huge surprises for me. But they are,
Well,
I guess.
I got to roll the open.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. We got to roll the headlines
for it.
open. I got to let people know that we're doing headlines. Sorry. Sorry, now continue.
No, you're fine. I forgot about the headline open.
Yeah, I
I
was
was
like,
just ready to go.
Yeah, I was like, man, he's diving in.
I think
I was
Let's
just,
go.
I was just
beer.
going to say that
It's the beer.
I
is
wasn't
what it is.
surprised to see them nominated, but I do think some of them don't deserve to be nominated. So.
Well, and I took it the same way.
Yeah.
To me, the surprise aspect of it was more so what I saw nominated but didn't think it deserved it. So I was surprised that it was nominated. Not that I actually was, because I thought,
Yeah.
it was more so, I'm surprised it got a nod, it didn't deserve it. That's the way I took it more so.
I wouldn't say surprised. I was just like, I don't think that deserves a nom, but I was
And that's
fully
fine.
expecting them to nominate
So
it.
first off, I do want to start off with absolutely the snubs, and that is Last Duel. Ridley Scott didn't get nominated. Eternals, Chloe Zhao, Clifford the Big Red Dog deserved.
Where are
a
these
nom.
coming from?
Venom.
I think he's pulling.
Look,
yeah.
Are you
Toby
serious?
Maguire
isn't a
deserved
snub.
a
I don't even
Best
know where he's-
Actor nod for No Way Home. Chris Rock and Spiral, where's that? Come on, he deserved it for that. And the biggest one of all, look, they let down Family. F9, where's the nom for F9? These are some major snubs that we got to
going
decipher.
into actual. Because I was thinking about, we always, because people like Variety had a whole list that I sent you all about different snubs and surprises, like Lady Gaga, and I'm like, kind of, not really.
For House of Gucci?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't really feel
Some
like.
people were calling it.
Yeah, people thought she would really be nominated. And there was a lot of them that, again, they're all picking still the same types of actors and movies. And I'm like, you know what? Used to like back when The Dark Knight was snubbed and they changed everything because they felt like, and then you started getting all the blockbusters like Black Panther and Endgame being nominated as well. I was like, what happened to movies that are actually some of the best movies of the year that were popular, like A Quiet Place 2? That would never get nominated, but I feel like that movie's better than a lot of the movies on
Actually,
this list.
Well,
that's
yeah.
actually one of the things I do have my real snubs.
Okay,
list here.
yeah. But I was really thinking about what movies
I was worried
did
for a
I
second.
what movies did I enjoy most this year that a lot of people enjoyed most this year
Yep.
that are never going to get thought about because they don't hold the same kind of auteur and
Well, I was saying,
art house
you all
or...
made here. I'm going to start out with some that I think you all. I'm going to mention ones that I think are more related to the popular opinion, not ones that I think were particularly snubbed, but people would call snubs. And then I'll go into what you all may disagree with me on some of the ones I think were snubbed, but ones that I think were popular opinion. Nightmare Alley. It didn't get director for Guillermo del Toro. Kate Blanchett, Bradley Cooper, or I would think even Rooney Mara. I think she might have deserved a supporting actress nod. Licorice Pizza, Bradley Cooper. Not getting nominated.
I haven't seen it yet, but I
Yeah.
heard a lot of people think that's a snub.
And mainly because he has a full frontal nudity scene that everybody talks
Here's the
about.
thing. If he was as good in that as he was in Nightmare Alley, I do believe he had maybe been had a snub.
True.
I have to
True.
check it out first. But
House of Gucci we just talked about with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Jared Leto, some of you are even saying. I thought his performance was over.
I don't think it was
He was better
Oscar.
than Lady Gaga in that movie, though.
I don't know. I think it was overboard.
Lady Gaga, I didn't think was bad.
I think
was
she
fine.
held the movie down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just I don't think any of them were great.
Now I'm moving into what I consider to be some snubs personally.
Yeah.
And again, y'all may disagree. But ultimately, I thought, yes, Last Night in Soho for cinematography, film editing, production design, and best makeup and hairstyling.
Yeah,
Based on what was nominated, I honestly felt like Last Night in Soho was one of those films where I'm like, as far as the story fell flat for me, and it didn't stick with me after.
Yeah, maybe not best picture or writing or director.
But yeah,
but as
those
far
other
as,
categories, I think it excelled in.
Absolutely.
I can agree with that.
I agree
Quiet
with that.
Place 2 I had on there for best sound and best editing at least. I'm like, it came out early in the year, but still. Godzilla vs. Kong for visual effects. I thought that got overlooked. I know Spider-Man made it in there, and so did Shang-Chi, whatever. But I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking Godzilla vs. Kong, because I think it kind of got overlooked for it being released on HBO Max. But it's like, that's the entire movie is CG.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but it's like, for the type of movie it is, I'm just surprised.
I'd have to look at some of those. Noms again.
And best sound, just because again, all those made up sounds
but
Kong.
some of the technical categories this year, I actually do agree with a lot of them in the more so than the bigger ones.
Oh, another one I overlooked for. I think some could argue in terms of popular opinion. I don't personally think so, but The Green Knight for cinematography, adapted screenplay, and production design. I could see some people being upset
Looking
about
at
that.
visual effects now, I could say, yeah, maybe Godzilla versus Kong when you have some movies that aren't bad, but when you look at Free Guy, No Time to Die,
Free Guy.
I don't think it would win, but I do think
think
it
about
got
that one.
snubbed.
but it's like those are nominated. No Time to Die and Free Guy both are.
Dune is. I think Dune was the most beautiful movie I've seen all year.
I
thought
could
special
see people
effects,
arguing that.
cinematography, sound, everything. That movie tripped me out.
The
Especially in the
cinematography
sound.
category I really like because I do agree with Dune, Nightmare Alley,
okay.
Tragedy of Macbeth. Those
Dune-
three,
Dune,
not so much West Side Story.
Dune was one I had down for a snub with regarding to director.
Yeah,
People are saying with
I have
Villeneuve
seen that
Dennis.
Dennis. Well, because again, and I haven't seen the movie. I've heard it's good, but when you bring up the director of Drive My Car, and I'm trying to pull him up because it's a Japanese film, and granted, I like Japanese media a lot. People are kind of turning to it because I think they have more westernized stories now than we in the West do. But yeah. But
Look no further than 1998 with Hideo Kojima.
but
My
again,
love of Metal Gear.
I haven't seen this movie, and it flew under everyone's radar and got the nom. And I'm like, is it really that good, or did they just go for the diversity nom?
You're gonna butcher his
Ryusuke,
name.
Ryusuke.
Okay.
I might butcher the last name, so I'll just leave it at Ryusuke because I
There you
know
go.
that one. But he was nominated, and a lot of people are like, I don't know, did he deserve it, or should have someone like Denis Villeneuve or Guillermo del Toro have gotten it?
One that I ultimately think is my biggest snub, and I had it down for several categories, and just call me a fan, I don't care, but French Dispatch got completely overlooked. No director nod for Wes Anderson.
Yes.
No cinematography, no best editing, no original score, costume design, original screenplay, production design, nothing.
I would
hairstyle and
forgot
makeup.
about that.
I would
nothing.
put French Dispatch in the best picture over King Richard, or
absolutely.
over definitely over Don't Look Up. I mean, Don't Look Up tells me everything I
purely
need to,
political.
Yes, that tells
Purely
me everything
political.
I need to know about these Oscars.
Yep.
A movie that almost nobody liked, and it didn't have good critic ratings, and it didn't have good audience scores either. I know people are like, oh, the only people who don't like it is just the media telling you they don't like it. No. Most people don't like it.
Netflix touts it as their most watched movie or
Because it
whatever
has
of the
Leo.
year. But I'm just like,
And
again,
Jennifer Lawrence.
we've talked about how they rate those, how they rate a watch.
True.
It could be 2 minutes of the movie, and
Yeah.
and they rate that as a watch.
I'm glad you mentioned
2 minutes
Leo,
in, you'll be turning it off.
because I have seen a few people saying he was snubbed for Don't Look Up, and I'm like, no.
No.
Nope. And
It's like, just because he's Leonardo DiCaprio
Yep.
doesn't mean
that's
he
it. They're
deserves to
gonna
be
say he
nominated.
gets, but I honestly think that's why. And I'll move on to the surprises here in a sec. But my last two snubs were Encanto. I just thought it was funny. I haven't even seen it, but I just know my
didn't like it.
my nieces and nephews
love
loved
Encanto.
We Don't Talk About Bruno, and I was surprised
That wasn't
one didn't
snubbed.
get nominated.
That one wasn't snubbed. What happened was Disney didn't think it would be popular, so they never
Oh.
applied for it to be nominated.
You have to apply.
You
I
can't
didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know
you
they
have
run
to-
like campaigns
You have
to win.
to no, you have to send in like what you want to be nominated, and that's what people vote on. So it's like you have to like basically say, hey, we're putting these up for nomination, and then if they get the votes, then it becomes nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Disney didn't do that because they didn't think it would be a popular song as it was, and then it ended up being like their number one song.
Just
from the
shows
movie.
you how much they know.
Well, because they went with the song that's all in Spanish. The whole thing is completely in Spanish.
they went
And
the
it is-
diversity
It
route.
is a pretty song. I have no idea what they're saying. It sounds pretty.
You have to look it up.
But honestly, Pressure and Don't Talk About Bruno, I thought are the best two songs in the movie, and neither one of them are on there.
And then, of course, some people are saying, and again, I haven't seen the movie to actually know, Being the Ricardos.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either.
I haven't
that
seen it
Sorkin
yet.
got snubbed for screenplay.
Maybe that. I've seen enough of the trailers that even though I haven't seen it, I'm comfortable feeling I kind of see why it wouldn't get any of the bigger noms. Maybe screenplay, I don't know, because that is a category I'd actually have to see the movie to get a feel for.
And then as far as surprises, like I said, this is kind of rephrasing it for what I consider to be, I was surprised. Some of these are, I was surprised they even got the nod, but most of them I'm just disappointed. For The Power of the Dog, I was surprised and not that Benedict Cumberbatch got it because, again, I don't think he deserved it.
Yeah.
Jesse Plemons, I actually was surprised by.
I was surprised. I mean, I like
yeah.
him. I thought he was really good. I just didn't think they would nominate him.
Plemkins?
Same.
Yeah,
Plemkins. Yeah,
Jesse
Plemkins.
Him and Kirsten Dunst both.
Yes,
I thought
she
they-
was the other one.
I
Yep.
thought they both gave great performances. I don't think they're undeserving. I just didn't think they would actually get the nod.
Agreed. And best sound. I'm like, why are you in that category? And just because you're on a ranch? I'm like,
Because
it's
of
a
the
West-
piano and the banjo, you dumbass.
See, that's stupid. Okay, and here's the thing. I didn't disagree with it as far as original score, but
Sorry.
it's terrible. It's dumb.
They had to do the sound mixing and the editing for
Yeah,
the
'cause
banjo.
that was so complicated.
You know?
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch doesn't know how to play a banjo in real life. Gosh.
But then, as far as
don't
King
know.
Richard, I was surprised with Will Smith being
haven't seen it.
nominated and Best Editing. I was like, why? There was nothing special about that
There's
movie.
a lot of these that I still have to watch. I actually
Yeah.
thought I've seen most of them, but I haven't seen Tick Tick Boom. I haven't seen King Richard. I haven't seen.
I have not seen Tick Tick Boom, but I saw, and this is going to sound
the
stupid as hell,
Ricardos?
but I saw a trailer on Netflix when they were advertising it with Andrew Garfield in a scene with his girlfriend in the movie.
Yeah.
And just that one trailer moved me enough that I really want
Yeah.
to see it now. And I'm like,
Yeah, but I haven't watched it yet.
Based
Yeah.
off that one scene alone, I believe Andrew
Yeah.
Garfield deserves the nom. He's the only actor in here I actually feel like really deserves it. I didn't think Denzel was that impressive.
That was my other one. That was,
I didn't think Will
he should
Smith
have
was
been
that
there.
impressive.
Nope.
I haven't seen Being the Ricardos. Maybe Javier Bardem is that impressive. I don't really know yet. And I didn't think Benedict Cumberbatch was that impressive.
And
So-
Same. Sean, you may actually disagree with me on this one. I was surprised that Dune got Best Score. I didn't think the music
I
in
like
it.
Dune.
So
I was like, I know it's Hans Zimmer, but I'm like,
Yeah.
just because it's Hans Zimmer.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
I like its soundtrack for. I think the soundtrack
it fits the
movie.
film.
Yes,
and maybe that's part of what they go on is does this sound or does this music fit? But yeah,
found it
the desert
annoying.
scene with the woman wailing like in that, like I love that. I thought it fit
I like-
that
yeah,
perfectly.
I think it fits it.
Now, if that would have been in Moonfall, I'd have been like, this is stupid.
Here's the thing. Looking at the noms, though, it's like none of them I think are really that
Yeah.
impressive for original score. So again, I feel like a lot of these are just weaker options when
Oh.
there are better ones out there that they're not going to nominate because they don't fit the
Well,
mold.
I was going to say, the Norbit of 2022 is sadly another Eddie Murphy film, Coming to America for Makeup and Hairstyling.
Yeah,
Like,
and
what?
I'm like, I didn't
Where
even
did that
know.
come
I didn't,
from?
well, I didn't even know that came out
In
last
2021?
year.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember that.
And again, here's another one where I do agree with all the other noms, but yeah, Coming to America, I'm just like, that's so random.
Well, I'm just like, you literally, French
Very
Dispatch
random.
didn't get nothing.
Nothing.
But Coming to America
Yes.
got best hairstyling and makeup.
It's like,
Come
where-
on.
where is this coming from? So
And then, as far as Sean, you were mentioning the movies you haven't seen, so I did make a list of. So the best pictures I have not seen yet that I'm going to check out are Coda, Drive My Car, Don't Look Up, and Licorice Pizza. I'm just going to make a disclaimer right now, real quick. I'm not going to watch Don't Look Up.
You have to.
I'm not. It's not going to win.
You can't make an
It's
informed
not-
opinion. I hope it.
If
no, I
it
don't.
wins,
I was gonna say I hope it
Best
wins
Picture.
just despite you.
I'll grant y'all that. If it wins Best Picture, I'll watch it.
I don't
I'm not
want it to win
watching. It's
Best
not
Picture.
going to win.
I think
it is
everybody
purely,
should watch it just to see.
It's purely
wanna give
political.
them the numbers,
that is the
though.
only reason that this is nominated. It got terrible reviews by critics and audiences alike. It's only been intrigued by the fact that it was on Netflix, so people could tune into
You're
it.
one of those people that just won't look up.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, so I won't watch it.
He's the people they talk about.
Oh,
in
here's the
movie.
thing: best original song is from that movie too. I
Yes.
think it's Ariana Grande. It's like that.
Oh no, it got snubbed. I thought.
Oh no, I thought it actually.
I don't think it actually
Oh no,
made it.
they mentioned
They-
it was.
they talk about it getting snubbed.
I don't believe
Yeah.
it's. A
It was
snub.
nominated for score.
Yes,
Yeah, which
but it
is
wasn't.
up.
But not best.
But
original
yeah,
song.
the
not
song's
best song.
terrible.
They did
by
say
the
that it
way.
was a snub, but yes, I have not seen the movie. I've heard the song, and it's
Yeah.
no.
I already tell
Yeah.
you, Billie Eilish is going to win that one. For one, I think almost every James Bond with a major artist has already won. You look at Adele,
Yeah,
hers won.
yeah.
Who was the last one that did it? It was kind of a somber, not.
They
Who
haven't
was
all
before
won.
Adele? I think like
You
the
had
last
Chris Cornell
three.
with Casino Royale.
Yeah,
you
his
had
didn't.
White's
Stripes.
Stripe
White
or White
Stripe.
Snake? White Stripe.
Right
It was White
Stripes,
Stripe.
right? Not White Snake.
Yeah,
That's
Snake
80s.
Yeah,
was-
that was 80s. Yeah,
It's like
White Stripes
James Bond's
did.
on the hood of a
White,
car,
yes.
dancing.
Hey, they did Guns N' Roses once.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
One of the older Bond films has a Guns,
Guns N'
N' Roses
Roses
song.
song? I thought you were talking about White Snake.
No,
did
no,
Guns
no.
N' Roses.
No.
Does it really?
I don't know that. Who did that? This will be
let me
movie
pull it up.
trivia.
This, I gotta see
This
this.
is news to me. I didn't know Guns N'
It
Roses
wasn't
did a
the
Bond song.
It wasn't the Bond song though.
Wasn't the
like
Bond
the theme
theme.
song.
Watch it be for Goldeneye.
Live and Let Die.
They did Live and Let Die, and that Pierce Brosnan.
Well, Guns N' Roses has a cover of "Live and Let Die."
Yes, they
Oh,
used that.
because the
did.
Beatles wrote that.
Yeah,
Yes, the Beatles wrote it, but that's the version that they used for the movie was the Guns N' Roses version.
But that wasn't the opening.
That wasn't the
title.
theme.
Live and Let Die, Guns N' Roses, James Bond theme.
What?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I've not seen that movie.
It
so I
opened
don't
to
know.
"Live and Let Die." No way. I gotta go watch that.
Honestly, now I want Bon Jovi to sing it.
Oh, Bond Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Oh, and then the other.
Like, have a nice day. Live and let die. That's actually the name of. That should be the name of the next Bond film. Have a nice day.
Oh, I like that.
James Bond. Have a nice day.
Nice, nice.
007.
There were 6 other movies
Yeah, yeah.
that are nominated that I just put on my list of wanting to check out because of the noms that they got, and that was The Lost Daughter, Passing, Being the Ricardos, Spencer, which the only nod it got was
I
Kristen
apologize.
Stewart.
Wings did the cover for James Bond. Wings did the cover.
Yeah, that's Paul
Okay.
McCartney,
Yeah,
who
that
is
is.
who was originally
So
a Beatle.
they didn't use the Guns N' Roses version.
So Guns
I
N'
wanted-
Roses just covered it.
They did cover. it.
Sorry, Guns N' Roses.
I just wanted to
Sorry,
to make
Axl.
sure. I wanted to double. I don't want to give false information.
Well, they were gonna
know.
let
I don't
Guns
want
N'
Joe
Roses
Rogan
do it, but Axl didn't
had
show
to.
up.
I had
I'd
to.
say he was out back then.
Yeah.
Now he's Chinese Democracy. That's the name of his most recent new
Yeah.
album is Chinese Democracy. It's terrible.
Axl Rose? What?
It's Guns N' Roses.
It's Guns
'cause
N' Roses.
He
But
bought
that's
the.
but that's
he bought
a
the
old,
name.
That's an old album. Chinese Democracy.
Chinese Democracy was
Yeah.
late 2000.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
old.
But I'm saying
2008.
he
Yeah.
hasn't released an actual.
Oh, and I don't think Guns N' Roses have had another album since
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
Well, and was that wasn't Guns N' Roses, was it? That was just
It
Axl
was
Rose.
him,
What?
but he owns Guns N' Roses now.
it was Guns N' Roses, but
Yeah.
it was with entirely new bandmates because
Yeah,
none
then
of
I,
the original.
I don't see.
yeah.
I don't count that.
He had a lawsuit to get that.
I mean, it
name.
had him, and I think there was one other, but Slash wasn't there because him and
Slash
Slash
is
don't like
in-
each other
is
anymore.
in,
Velvet Revolver, which is a
and-
much better band now.
Yeah.
and that's because Slash
The drummer's
knows like
dead.
that Axl
Yeah.
Rose was a
For
prick,
sure.
and he was just he's in it for himself. I'm sorry.
Let's
but-
get
all right, yeah, we gotta
Anyways-
move on.
anyways.
No, but yeah, and then Spencer because Kristen Stewart was nominated. The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which I know Sean has checked out,
That is
and
good.
then Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah.
Are those? So I still have a lot. I have a total of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 movies that I've got to watch.
Well, Tick Tick
to
Boom
fully
and The
catch
Eyes
up.
of Tammy Faye aren't Best Picture noms, but you do want to watch them and just
Right. Because they have Best Actor nods or Best Supporting
in that
Actor.
case, I
or
also,
actress.
I mean, there's a bunch of those I haven't seen because I haven't seen The Lost Daughter. Or,
Passing. I mentioned that one.
actually,
That
that's
one's-
it. I think that's on the other one. So 12. Okay, that's not bad.
And Coda, I'm gonna check out before my Apple TV
Apple-
Plus subscription
that
runs
reminds me.
out.
Yeah.
So that one's
You
on
can't
there.
miss it. Like it's blasted
Yeah.
as soon as you log in.
Yeah. Because
Oh.
that's all they got.
I was gonna say, how's it blasted? It's about deaf people.
No, I'm just saying, like
everywhere.
it's a huge banner as soon as you
Well,
log in.
they want to because I mean they've got an Oscar nom.
They
That's
just
huge for
blare
Apple.
this loud sound so you'll watch it.
It's like we thought everybody was deaf and wouldn't notice.
It's terrible.
Nobody cares about deaf people. Look at The Sound of Metal didn't win nothing. Come
Well,
on.
that was what actually somebody at work even said. They were like, "Man, it's great to see that a sound about losing your hearing actually wins out." And I'm like, "Did you not see Sound of Metal last year?
amazing.
that was our best picture pick. That was great, fantastic.
That was.
It's great." But any more? Do y'all want to add to any more of the snubs or surprises that you all noticed amongst the list?
all of the movies that you mentioned as snubs are movies that I had already forgotten. Really, anyway, not because they were bad. They just it
No
didn't sound
lasting
like
impression.
it didn't sound like anything that was. But everything that is nominated, from what I can see, other than Coming to America, I feel like it's no big surprise to me.
Okay,
So
good deal. Okay, well,
I
obviously,
don't agree with them, but they're
stay
the ones that I
tuned.
thought would.
because the week, or I should say, the show before
Yeah.
the Oscars air are going to be our
We always do
prediction
our
show,
picks, yeah.
and we'll give you again what we think is going to win and what we want to win, and then we tally them up, and we on the week of our Oscar
Are
review.
we going to have an Oscar party?
I don't know. We've never live streamed during the Oscars. We've always done like our post Oscars, like
Yeah.
maybe a little chit chat or something and posted it, but we've never
Yeah.
done a live stream. I don't know
I've
if we're
live
legally
tweeted
allowed
stuff,
to, but
but
yeah.
yeah, we usually do that. We live tweet. Usually we're too busy having our Appalachian
we could
session IPA
do
to
short little live videos of
True.
us doing stuff. So maybe we might do something entertaining. We'll figure that
yeah.
out.
Well, that's a good catch.
We'll
there,
have to
Sean.
actually get together, though, is what I mean.
Oh, we do every year.
No, I don't.
Yes,
Well,
you
that's
do.
your
You're
fault.
always invited up here. It's always at my place.
I know.
We did it down in Barstown, but now you're closer.
Yeah,
The one year.
it won't be as far of a
It
drive
won't be as
now.
far now. Yeah. But it's always lively here when we criticize everybody's Oscar speech. How woke can it be? Yeah. But we'll definitely have that show coming up for you in the coming weeks leading up to the Oscars. That was just a little bit of our, overall initial impression of the noms that just released today. So now let's
I think we
move
spent
on.
more time than we need to.
Yeah.
But let's
like
now
that.
talk about the headline that I think Keith you originally had brought up, which was about
I don't want to go back
Emmerich.
to Roland Emmerich now.
I mean, can't we sink any lower than the Oscars?
I mean,
Roland Emmerich.
Spent a lot of time on
He
that
came
one.
out talking about how he feels Marvel and Star Wars and movies of those natures are kind of hurting cinema because they're not original.
The gall.
And those are his
Oh my
words. I mean, they're
God.
not. I'm paraphrasing. It's not
I
his
just like that
exact
he
words, but he did
somewhat
say they
compares
were
himself
unoriginal.
to Christopher Nolan.
He
and
did.
I'm like,
He did.
He says Christopher Nolan does original things, which I agree. And he said Christopher Nolan's allowed to do what he wants, which he's proven himself, of course. Roland Emmerich, like you were saying, was just kind of like, I can kind of do my own thing.
Especially when it involves disaster flicks.
That's 'cause that's
Is what
all-
I'm like,
yeah.
that's because that's all you do.
yeah.
You specialize in them saying, we want to see things go boom. Let's get Roland Emmerich.
Yep.
And then we'll make it about the Earth ending. And I loved how it went from global warming to just the moon straight up falling out of the sky.
No, the moon is a mega structure made by aliens. Like, it's not even the moon
Yeah.
falling. It's literally a space station, which is stolen from Star
Literally,
Wars.
they
That's
they
no moon. It's a space station.
they
It's
front
the Death Star.
it's the Death Star.
And it looked like it too when the rock falls off and they show just what the metal looks like. It's like that's the
Yeah.
Death Star. And then we got Halo. It's like I don't know what he's doing.
He's
The movie
literally-
poster looked like Destiny. He's just like he's like every science fiction trope he can find. He's
I
like,
want
I'm
him
gonna
and
do-
James Cameron to get together and do a movie.
I was
Oh,
gonna
yes.
say James Cameron is the first
Oh.
person I brought up when he talked about the
Avatar.
originality of Avatar.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off because these are people, they want to talk, Hollywood always wants to talk about how everybody else is stuck in their own bubble. And it's like, say what you will about Marvel. And look, Scorsese can say what he wants. He's proven himself in terms of filmmaking.
Scorsese brought up a good point though.
Yeah, he told us what they were. He didn't disagree that they weren't, decent to watch.
Roland Emmerich's over here talking about how they're unoriginal while he makes the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Exactly. It's just so funny because I'm sitting here thinking, at least Scorsese has a bone to pick with. The same with Nolan wanting to preserve certain aspects of film. I get that. But Roland Emmerich destroyed it the moment that they made a sequel to Independence Day. And even Independence Day wasn't an amazing movie, but it's a great classic. It's a cult classic blockbuster.
I think he should come back and make a sequel to The Patriot. I just want to see it.
It'll be aliens.
That's what I'm saying. They'll be fighting aliens.
Yeah,
in it.
It'll be General Cornwallis was really an alien.
Who did Cowboy and Aliens?
Not Roland Emmerich.
Who did that movie?
Cowboys and Aliens.
It's probably some
and
unknown.
It might be.
That was a terrible movie too.
It was.
All I know,
I can't believe Harrison Ford signed up for that.
The Federalist.
Was Harrison
by
Ford
Roland
in it? I
Emmerich.
remember Daniel Craig was in it.
Yeah, Harrison
the
Ford was
Cowboys.
the antagonist.
Oh yes, okay, yeah.
Who? Oh, do you know who did it?
No way. John Favreau did.
Oh,
that's insane!
Wow.
Hey, everybody has a bad one.
Nobody includes that on his list of
Nobody's
successes,
perfect
because they overlooked that one. Yeah.
That and The Lion King are his bad too.
Well, because here's the thing: when you actually make successful films, it overshadows the ones you took a chance on and missed.
Yeah.
You're allowed.
Roland Emmerich
You're allowed a bad one.
has had miss after miss after miss for several movies. We just brought up 10,000 BC tonight, and we completely forgot about that one.
Yeah,
and that one was
one.
god awful.
I remember that. That one was
boring.
one that was so bad you could make fun of.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
It
That's
wasn't. I remember just feeling like I'm bored. I don't know.
I was
what to
never
make of
bored
this.
because we were making fun of it in the theater the whole time.
trying to make a best out of a bad situation.
The whole time we were like, where the hell did these woolly mammoths come from?
It's 10,000 BC.
But they're building the pyramids. I don't remember the woolly mammoths building the pyramid. They were using them to drag the blocks to build the pyramids.
Look,
You think that was the Egyptian pyramid?
No, well, I mean, whatever, not Egyptian pyramids, but like they were like Incan.
You're trying to make logic out of something that you can't.
You're not thinking about originality. Okay,
I'm
That's
just
your
thinking
flaw.
time frame wise, they lived during the Ice Age, and now they're using them to pull blocks to build pyramids, and I don't know what's going on.
Roland's got his own time frame, okay, and his is the only one that matters when it comes to filmmaking.
His movies are about like human ingenuity. Like we can save anything.
That's exactly what it is.
It doesn't matter what
It always
is
has that
happening,
theme.
We can do it.
Yep, and it's
And
always
that's what they
that's
thought
a good
10,000
message,
years
I
ago.
guess.
They thought we can.
At least
we can harness woolly
At least
mammoths.
he has a good message that humanity will always prevail.
But it's the same damn message in every film. This ragtag group of misfits mixed in with somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about that
When nobody else
that
does.
everybody doubted.
Yep, that's right.
Makes it successful and
that's the day
saves
after
the day.
tomorrow.
That's every
That's
movie
all
of
of
his.
them. Huh.
Independence Day.
Godzilla was Matthew Broderick. In 2012, it was John Cusack.
I was being.
I mean, come on.
I was being sarcastic.
Will Smith.
I know, but still, it's
but
just-
Will Smith was the just military.
Yeah, you always have the military personnel, but you always have the person nobody believes because Independence
Randy
Day
Quaid.
you had
Randy Quaid
Yeah.
in Independence Day.
But also
And
you
then-
had the guy that knew everything, which was
you have Jeff
Jeff Goldblum.
you have your
Jeff
characters
Goldblum,
that like
yes.
are the
Yeah.
authority on everything and are able to do like
Well,
I mean, all
they
of them-
finally come around.
They all
to,
have. He uses the same.
They come
tropes.
around to Joe
In
Schmo's
Stargate?
opinion.
Stargate, it was James Spader.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, and
Stargate was a good movie.
Yeah. Well, so was Independence Day and the Patriot.
Moonfall.
Well,
You have
Independence
Donald
Day-
Sutherland. I mean, just fantastic.
All 5 minutes of it?
Yeah.
Was it even 5 minutes?
I think we've beaten this.
Yeah,
dead
yeah,
horse.
yeah.
But the other bigger point that we want to talk about with that we obviously hinted at within our review, and no doubt I think is another thing that Emmerich completely misses, and that is like it's glaringly obvious how much this props up the idea of it being produced by a Chinese company. And this has not been a secret for the last several years that Hollywood has been invaded by or has sought to invade China with its cultural impact, not from a scale of, Americana, but from a scale of we just want dollar signs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the whole reason they depended on China. And
a
China
lot of-
knows this.
A lot of productions now are catered to, okay, we can't put this in the movie because we have to make sure that we appease a Chinese audience. Because they do, again, it's not about them caring anything about the Chinese people's beliefs or what offends them as much as, well, we got to make sure that this gets past their government and they okay it so that we can make the money. Like you said, it's about the dollars.
There's billions of people there.
Which is funny because now China has been not allowing hardly any American movies into their country.
And actually, I was going to say the link that we have in our description below. It's from an author of a new book that's coming out. I actually do want to check it out because it's pretty interesting. Some of the topics he goes into. It's Eric Schweitzer. And I just want to bring up the actual. Oh gosh, I'm trying.
It's a good article. I read it.
I was gonna say I'm not going to read up the whole thing, but I just want to pull open the link to the actual name of the book and give this guy some.
I can read it.
Oh, Red Carpet, Hollywood, China. The global battle,
battle,
cultural supremacy, and he does talk about
culture. There's
cultural.
There's little bits there. You're only reading the big text.
But the thing is, it's like I do want to talk about how, the topic of discussion throughout the piece, and it even says at the bottom of it that it's been condensed for clarity and just I guess to bring out the major points that they were making. This is actually one of those conversations I'd like to hear just being had, and not to bring up Joe Rogan, but in a very long form, but in a very long form way.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be interesting because it seems like this guy at least knows what he's talking about. He's analyzed, the kind of relationship that Hollywood and China have had, and he's basically saying no. In the last few years, China's not depending on Hollywood to produce a lot of the major films that are now, making waves and making ground.
They want to promote their own film studio first. That's why because I've actually read some of this stuff before, and that's why I really liked about this because this condenses like 5 or 6 different articles I've read in the past all into one article because they are very focused on promoting their own film industry. And like I think up until Spider-Man, it was a Chinese film that was the highest grossing movie of 2021 because you release it, even though it's only released in China, their population's so massive, it broke $1 billion in China alone. And they like that. They want to be able to say, we're so great, look, our movies are number one, you don't need America and Hollywood. And that's why they kind of edge us out because they want to promote their own movies more so. Right. And they haven't allowed like any of Marvel's movies so far into their country last year.
But I also agreed, and I think that's part of the problem that we see in terms of when it brings up the idea of cultural supremacy. When you have these ideological battles in terms of on the the grand scale of nation versus nation, you have those fights being waged, whether you like it or not. At the end of the day, your culture is being held up against another in terms of what's actually being rooted and being spread. And obviously a country of 300 million people, still a massive in terms of producing content and spending tons of entertainment dollars. But it's interesting because I have no doubt in my mind that China, of course, knows this is what they're doing. They want to bring the battle to the front doorstep of saying, we don't need your Hollywood movies. You can bring, even movies that Hollywood was sure were going to release in China and be big paydays, like Dune. There was even another, Black Widow, which hasn't been released.
None of Marvel's movies last year were released in China, except Spider-Man's been approved, but still hasn't. Yep. And I'm kind of feeling they're not going to, even though China said it was okay. The fact that they still haven't allowed it yet makes me feel like they're just going to be like, we changed our mind.
Well, of course, because they know at the end of the day it pushes the bottom line of and this is where I think the article he doesn't give any hints as to what he dives into in the book, but I would be interested in seeing actual streaming numbers from from even pirated films in this country.
Yeah.
Not in this country.
Well, they don't allow
in
streaming
China.
over there either. They said Netflix isn't in China.
Well, no, but that's legal streaming.
Yeah,
Netflix, Disney Plus. They're not. But I'm talking about specifically
pirating it.
How many people are actually consuming American content in China, unbeknownst to the Chinese government? Because he brings up a particular
None of them,
point.
When they find out, they get executed.
Well, here's the funny thing. You say that, and it is a funny joke. But at the end of even just this little brief exchange on Variety. He specifically, the question's asked, China recently restored the original Fight Club ending after censorship backlash. Were you surprised to see that reversal? He said, we don't necessarily see any kind of reaction to these things in China. It introduced a lot of Americans to what storytelling in China is like, with every movie trying to reach a moral equilibrium. It was like that in the U.S. for a while with Hollywood, when Hollywood was much more religiously influenced. Which I could agree with that to some degree.
Like you said, there had to be consequences for bad actions.
Right. But at the end of the day, he says most people in China don't consider looking at films that way. They almost know that it's propaganda from the government.
Yeah.
But I think that's a load of crap. I agree with him, and he may have done this study and his homework on this, but I think him kind of giving that, little tale of, he says, what's the quote he says? And it's not a quote, it's just what he considers people saying over there. I thought it was pretty good for a propaganda movie. There's more awareness that Americans can acknowledge. It's not like that people are seeing a movie in China and being like, oh, thank God the Chinese government stopped Tyler Durden. Yeah. And I just think that's being a little too even-handed for oppressed people he's giving too much leeway to them noticing their oppression. And I'm like, yeah, they may not be running out in the streets saying, well, thank you, China. Thank you, Papa Jinping, or whatever his name is. And thank you so much for helping us, understand where, morality weighs in all of this. No, I don't think they're doing that. Yeah. But they're also not going to come out and speak out against it either.
Well, he said, I would talk to people who would say things like, I thought it was pretty. So I guess he's insinuating that he's talked to Chinese people that have told him that, but we don't know to what extent because he does. The article
I just think that's a little bit of if you're going to sit here and say that, oh yeah, they talk as if they know they're being propagandized. Well, if that's the case, then I don't think there would be as
well, exactly, because the same thing happens in North Korea, and a lot of people when they finally do get out of North Korea finally learn the truth, because there's tons of people who've come from North Korea who've said we didn't realize, like, we've been lied to so much that we didn't realize so many of these things that are actually going on in the outside world. And granted, I don't know if that China is that bad, but I mean, I do guarantee that the government, we already know that they restrict what their people can and can't do and can and can't see. So I guarantee you there's a level of propaganda that Chinese people may not be aware of.
Yeah.
No doubt. And honestly, that's what I see as kind of the way moving forward, because that's when, just before that, he talks about the streaming services. And I think it's very interesting because it's like you have your Netflixes and your other streaming services that aren't available in China, and they don't cater to being major players in that market because they don't have to.
They already know China doesn't have them, so they don't care. I mean, I guarantee you the amount of like Korean and Japanese stuff that's on Netflix, if they had to cater to China, who is a competitor of those, they probably wouldn't be promoting as much.
Well, and the bigger question there would be is if Netflix got approved to be in China tomorrow, would they just remove that content to appease China? And I have no doubt they would.
Absolutely.
Because they know it would improve their bottom line. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the bigger issue here is, do we really have fault against China for being upfront and pushing their own cultural agendas?
You should fault them for doing the evil things they do, but at the same time, we could fault American production studios for kowtowing.
That's exactly. Those are who we have power over.
Yeah.
And look, I completely agree with Don't Look Up as a perfect example. We bash that movie because it's like, everybody knows what it is. Mm-hmm. The only reason it's nominated is because they politically want to push it. Yeah. And at the end of the day, nobody gives a damn about that film. But they're going to push it at award shows and push it up the ranks to try to get more notice to it and have all the A-list players in it because they want it to be seen because it's a message they agree with. The problem is everybody in Hollywood who's always looking at this a crisis of, we know if we get this approved over in China, we're going to reach a huge audience. It's like, why don't you actually impress the audiences here who are craving content, but you don't agree with the content? Mm-hmm. So you're suppressing that worldview and that point of view because you ultimately are demagogues on that issue, and you don't want to express a conservative value or any kind of conservative leanings because, heaven forbid, that actually get high praise and high box office earnings and then turn you into hypocrites. If you actually go that route, maybe there's a different story there. So I don't think the waging of the war is just on China's front. It also still is here at home in terms of shaping minds and shaping personalities to actually start showcasing films that would open up the audiences to a wider array. I think that's why you have No Way Home being such a huge success. Not just because it's a Marvel film, but it touches upon even those who were fans of Spider-Man back when it originally released in 2001.
It's a done well film. It's a movie that's done well that doesn't have a whole front load of agenda that people have to get through to get the story bits. Yeah. I mean, it is. It's a movie that it's accessible to everyone, especially Spider-Man fans.
And China's no doubt blocking all of their films because they know they'd be massive hits. Yeah. That's why I would be interested. Even just take the Marvel films. Mm-hmm. Let's condense it down to that. I'd love to see pirated films, Marvel films in China, and how popular they are. Just see.
I'm just mad because I really feel like Spider-Man might actually be able to beat Avatar if China would just let it release over there.
Yeah.
That was over there. James Cameron's in China's lap.
The fact that it's made as much money as it has without China is amazing, though.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I think you're talking about
no,
I thought you
Spider-Man.
were talking about Avatar.
No, Spider-Man.
Yeah, no.
The fact that it's like
1.4 billion.
It's almost like the fifth
6.
highest grossing movie of all time without China, and it's the only movie in the top 10 grossing films to not be released in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's incredible. All righty, guys. Yes, I think we're finally ready to move on to our multimedia segment.
make noises and she comes. Multimedia. Multimedia.
That was the quote of the show right
I'm
there.
just saying, I make noises and she
Make
comes.
noises and she comes.
I mean,
No frame of reference,
No,
no
that's
understanding.
it.
Just
No.
I make noises and she comes.
That's right. All righty, guys. Let's talk about we covered Microsoft taking over the world.
yeah.
Let's
so
talk about
Sony's going to take over an island.
Hey, Sony is punching back.
That's what it equates to.
They're trying.
They spit
Yeah.
a spitball at them.
Sony bought Bungie.
Yeah.
This was 2 weeks ago now.
It's just so anticlimactic.
I know.
Sony bought Bungie.
Bungie.
And don't get me
They-
wrong, I like
they make
Bu-
one
I-
game.
I
Could
like
they have bought
Bungie.
Microsoft?
I need them to buy. There are rumors that they're looking at some Japanese companies because Sony's in Japan, and I'm like, I hope so because I would love to see them get Konami.
Yep. Square Enix.
or Square.
Yeah.
That was the biggest one that people were like because they already have.
The partnership deal.
Part-
and-
yeah, so
and they've always been a huge ever since Final Fantasy got ported to the PlayStation.
and I mean, and I think that's because with Microsoft having Bethesda that can produce RPGs, they're thinking if Sony gets Square Enix, then they have an RPG competitor. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Bungie.
well, no. But here's the thing:
Talking about Destiny.
people would argue that Destiny is an RPG.
Well,
But here's the problem: is
It's a
an
huge
M-
game.
MMORPG. Well, and here's the thing, and it's the
See-
second highest MMO after Call of Duty. Like it does have it breaks
It's a
in
huge
MM.
following.
yeah
MMO. Oh,
massive multiplayer
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
And
I was
it-
thinking strategy. game.
No.
Okay.
And it is like it has. I think when I was looking at the statistics, they get like Call of Duty gets like 500,000. I don't remember if that was the day or the week statistic, but then Destiny has around 400,000. So it's only 100,000 less players than
Wait. 1,000, not million. They're not like one
probably
plus
million.
or
Probably
something?
million.
Well, I'm just.
Well, no, I was thinking. I think it's in a day, so it's 1,000.
Oh, okay.
It's in one day they have like 500,000 players for Call of Duty, and Destiny has 400,000. So I'm
See,
like, that's
that's
not
even
bad.
kinda
I still think that's
surprising.
low.
Yeah,
I think
Maybe
I don't know
it is
what those
million.
stats are. Can you look that up real
Let me
quick?
check.
500 million sounds
It's
like
probably-
a lot.
it's
That's
probably-
way too many.
Yeah.
There ain't
Yeah.
no way it's 500 million.
And like I said, it may not be a
But I
day.
don't know. I mean, Destiny does have a huge following. It's a game that's been around for what?
Almost 10 years.
Is it 10?
Destiny 2 came out, I
Mm-hmm.
think, when it was like in 2013, 2014. It was short. It was like a year or two after the PS4
Yeah.
launched. Because I remember getting hold on.
Destiny. Then there was that was out for 2 years, I think, before Destiny 2 came out.
Which is crazy that I didn't think Destiny 2 was
and
going
then
to last
it's been
this
Destiny
long.
2 since then.
Yeah. And
And
they
it's just-
did
they just
say
keep upgrading it.
They did say Destiny 2 was their
It says
longevity plan.
estimated daily players 625,000 for
Call of Duty?
and 575,000 for Destiny.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So estimated total players is 43.6 million for Call of Duty, 35.3 million for Destiny 2. So they're I mean it's right behind Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I'm looking up Destiny 2's release date now. I'm just curious because I don't know. Oh, it came out in 2017.
20 yeah, it
So
says
it was way later.
four,
my
it says
bad.
4 years.
It said 2013.
I think 2013 was the original Destiny.
it might have been.
Yeah.
Because I know
Um,
But Destiny 2 is the platform that everything is building
Yes,
off of.
and I told
the
Brandon it's like
foreseeable
one of the
future,
reasons
yeah.
I kind of started playing Destiny again was just because Call of Duty, at least Warzone, when you compare the two free ones, Warzone versus Destiny, which is what this is doing, it's comparing Warzone, not the other releases.
Well, Destiny 2 you can't say is completely free though.
It is, unless you get the newer expansion.
That's what I'm saying though. But you
Yeah.
can't play the original and just continue on.
you can
like,
play
you
everything
could,
except
but-
for the current expansion.
Yeah, well
Yeah.
but you all the others were expansion packs, weren't
but
they?
they are all
They're free.
The way they're doing it
When the
is
new one comes out,
when
the
the
old
new
one
one
becomes
comes out,
free.
the old one becomes free.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
Beyond Light's not free yet. It'll like it's kind of like they're always two behind. So like when the one after this one comes out, then Beyond Light would like become free.
But they're already on
Because Shadow
the Witch
keeps
Queen.
Witch Queen's out is going to be coming out, so Shadowkeep is now free.
It's
Like
free.
I was playing it without. Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
So they kind of.
I didn't.
If you're willing to wait
because
about
they're-
2 years,
yeah.
it'll be free.
It makes
Yeah.
sense though what they're trying to do. They obviously got to entice new people to jump in or even keep older players. I just have not been one of those. I played Destiny 2, the original like story, and I think I even bought the season pass when it originally came out.
Yeah.
But I never played Beyond. Just the few times I
And
played.
here's
with you all.
the reason I got back in was because there's just more to do. Even amongst the free content, like even if I don't buy the Witch Queen or Beyond Light because I don't own Beyond Light, between everything else, there's just way more options of things to do than in Warzone, which is the free version where you could either only do Battle Royale or Plunder. I mean, every now and then they change it up with kind of but it's just a variation of those two for the most part.
Yeah.
And I don't even like Battle Royale, so that only leaves me
But
Plunder.
the thing with Destiny is like other than raids, everything else in the game you can do on your own.
Yeah.
With Warzone, like, yeah, you can go do Battle Royale on your own. You're going to die. You can do Plunder on your
Probably
own,
won't
but you're
win.
not going to win. And
Yeah.
you're not going to win solo. So it's that
I'm
game.
sure someone
Well, and
does.
those
Yeah.
well, but it's also
But
just
it-
very limited.
usually, yeah.
It's very limited in scope because which granted, Warzone is built around being a multiplayer game.
Yes.
Destiny 2 has
It's
both.
a co-op.
It's
Yeah.
co-op, but it's also supposed to be
Yeah.
single player if you have nobody else to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've expanded it, and like you said, apart from raids, there's really like every mission or every side quest you could do by yourself in Destiny 2.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And they just amp up the
Yeah.
difficulty level the more people that are playing
I mean,
in your party.
And well, the thing is, like, even apart from raids, even like strikes and stuff where you have to have a fire team, they match you with somebody, which I know Call of Duty does that too. But it's still, I feel like, a little bit easier or to access some of that stuff. Like if I'm doing strikes,
and I think they're aimed towards like Destiny 2 is supposed to be continual, whereas Warzone is simply drop in and play a game.
you just drop in
Yep.
and
And you're out.
and it's different. But I mean, to me, it's just I like that I have variety with something as opposed to only doing plunder. That's why I told him I was playing even Cold War. Kyle got and I was playing it. And it made me miss like having a mainline Call of Duty game just because it had, while not as much as Destiny, more options and more variants on the multiplayer than Warzone. Because I mean, you could do Domination or King of the Hill, or there's just different game modes.
But again, they would argue, well, yeah, see that option's there because you can pay
you
$70.
buy it, and I get that, but it's like Destiny's free. I mean, not everything, but way
The initial
more.
price up front,
Yeah.
and then you get, like you said, if you either want to wait for the expansions or pay up front, you can get it
I just felt like it has a little bit of a. And granted, I know like there's people that would disagree because you have the diehard Call of Duty fans that, and if you like Call of Duty, that's fine. I just felt like
So wait, is Destiny 2 even out? Is it out playing GTA Online?
I guess if it's
Yeah.
like one of the second highest, yeah.
That's crazy to me. I did not know it had that big of a.
Yeah.
I literally was prepared to come on here and say, "Well, Destiny 2's been out since 2017, and they ain't got nothing
No,
else
it's
under their
huge.
sleeve." But it's that big.
And Bungie is working on a new IP, which I think is
not Destiny.
Not Destiny.
Okay.
They said they're working. It's not going to be. I think it's not a first-person shooter. It's supposed to be more like.
Not Halo Wars or like strategy.
No, not a strategy
Okay,
game. Well,
yeah.
Bungie didn't make Halo Wars.
I know, but
Yeah.
it was originally supposed to be a third-person shooter.
It's supposed to be kind of like I think
Until they
like
took
more like
over.
a puzzle platform type game, puzzle platformer.
Oh, well then.
almost like
no.
a Jack and Daxter or something.
I guess, yeah.
I'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
And that's something that because they're doing
Something
something
different.
different. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
doing something.
I
working
mean,
with-
well,
they're not.
Guerrilla went from Killzone to
They're not
to
stopping.
Horizon.
Yeah.
They're not stopping developing for Destiny 2. They're still going to do that, but they're making another IP that's
I just
not
remember,
going to be
I
a
think,
massive
Sean,
online
you even
thing.
caught onto this too, because I think Destiny originally released, and they sell it as like a 10-year vision.
Yeah.
But then they sold Destiny 2 like 2 years later. But
Yeah.
it truly is
the
almost
thing
living up
was
to it.
was they saw with the PS4 the way they looked at it was we're gonna have Destiny, it's gonna be this huge thing, but I think what they intended to do was they wanted to have Destiny 2, Destiny 3, Destiny 4, but they wanted it all to be the one continual thing. Now with Destiny 2, once they came out with that, that's when they said we're not gonna make another. There's not gonna be a Destiny 3 or 4. Everything is just going to be compounded into
Destiny
2. But they don't even call it Destiny 2 anymore. I don't think. I
They
think
just call it
by now
Destiny.
it's just Destiny.
They call it. They usually call
It's like
go by this-
Destiny Beyond Light.
They'll do the seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is like season of opulence, season of it's weird. So
Right now it's Destiny the Witch Queen or something like that.
Well, but and I've seen positive reviews circulating, or at least some positive buzz with the now coming out. But my interest is, it's like, to me, it was always the kind of the audacious, jumping back into something that I haven't been a part of in forever. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, to me, it was
It's
always like
overwhelming.
a World of Warcraft type of atmosphere, where it's like, which I know that's a totally different. They've almost designed it not to be that way, so that you could jump in at different times. But
this one just has a breakdown kind of month to month. But the highest month of 2021 for GTA Online was only 173,000.
wow,
So yeah,
that's
it's-
surprising.
Yeah.
I just
feel
that's crazy to me.
People are probably tired of GTA at this point, though, and then we're getting it for
and granted,
PlayStation 5.
now that one has been out for 10 years.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
It came out in
It
2011.
came out on the PS3.
Yeah. So that one I completely understand. And there's still continual buzz that GTA 6 is coming out on the
Well,
horizon.
they did make an official
Yeah,
announcement
that they're working
that
on
they're
Yeah.
developing
but
it.
not before the upgraded version of GTA 5.
Hey, you get
that you'll have
you
to
get,
pay for.
But you get 3 months of GTA Online free when it launches.
Woo!
Do you?
Yeah, if you're a PS Plus member.
Starting middle
The
of March.
You get 3 months. Yeah, March 12th, I think. 3 months of GTA Online free. You don't have to buy the PS5 upgrade.
Oh, okay.
It's because
I mean,
they
you can
gave
play if
us,
you own
know,
GTA.
If you own it, you already have
You can play it, but you
yeah.
you
Well,
get the
okay,
but you get the PS5 upgraded version of GTA 5
okay.
online.
Well, let's talk about going back
not
to
the story, just the online.
going back to Sony and Bungie. And even with this new IP on the horizon that Bungie's, quote unquote, talking about,
Yeah.
the real question is, do we see this as, look, Sony and Bungie have been tightly intertwined since the original Destiny. And Destiny originally kind of promoted itself not as, ever since Killzone, they were like, oh, this is a Halo killer. And then, of course, when Bungie was no longer exclusive and no longer developing Halo, it was like, well, now we got the studio that brought you Halo,
Yeah.
so we're definitely bringing you this exclusive relationship with Destiny. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And yeah, granted, I played the first Destiny. I enjoyed plenty of times online with you all, but it never sunk its teeth into me. It was always repetitive in terms of certain goals that and initiatives that you would have to complete to continue on. I never really found anything.
It is a grind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's
Everything
some
is a
people that
grind.
enjoy that. There are some people who love the World of Warcraft because they can get the little bits and pieces of the story. But to me, I always felt like, no, you're doing 100,000 activities and you're maxing out all of these stats just to go into this next area to beat this major significant boss and get one little cutscene that looks beautiful.
I don't even think Destiny anymore is at all about the story. Now it's just about
Content.
whatever new loot or content or
Oh no,
whatever.
they have all kinds of lore still. It's crazy. 'Cause
I've actually heard positive buzz with the Witch King is that it's
Witch Queen is supposed to be
Witch Queen, yeah.
Well, from Shadowkeep on, because they brought in writers from like the original Halo series, I believe, to pick up like the story. I guess that maybe the people they worked with in the past, and I've heard that the story is actually like way better.
Because it hasn't
now.
been good since the Taken King.
Yeah,
and even the Taken King.
Well,
I
they
wasn't
said
super impressed.
They said
with.
it kind of started with Forsaken was kind of their first hit at building the story, which I kind of see that. It wasn't great, but I do see what they're going for. But yeah, they brought in like stuff with like the Shadow now and Shadowkeep, like you can use darkness and the light. Now they have Beyond Light. And then, of course, the Witch Queen. But apparently, the Witch Queen's set up even before this expansion in Beyond Light. So it's all kind of like connecting to each other. So
But see, again, and
I've been trying to
that's
catch
great,
up, but it's so much.
But that's what I'm
just
saying.
like-
That's the great thing for the people who've continued playing, and they're finally getting, kind of delivery on the goods they were promised. But for people who dropped out before getting that,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I don't know what to do to bring me back. And I think it's a massive deal what Sony did. I think it was a great response to even them coming out saying expect more acquisitions. But it's like, come on. I mean, Microsoft pulled out some heavy hitting guns
Yeah,
when
two of
when
the biggest.
Blizzard
Yeah.
and Activision are huge. And,
Yeah,
and
and
I'm not saying
Bethesda.
Bungie's not, and I'm not saying that deal is not going to be lucrative for Sony, and I'm not saying they have to go make a huge deal like that to express their weight. We talked about it the week of Microsoft buying those studios, how much weight Sony already has in its first-party studios. I mean, Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, I'm Gorilla, freaking Gran Turismo studio, Polyphony. I mean, you've got tons of first-party studios that you can look up and see what they've been. Sony Bend, and you've got all Team Ico or Ico. It's like it's just ridiculous. And so Sony knows that its hearts are with those creatives who can create these new, different experiences. Quantic Dream, they come out with something different all the time. And it's like, to me, that variety of life is what ultimately matters. And I think that, to me, Bungie being bought out was the flexing of the muscle of saying, hey, we've had a great relationship with these guys. We're not only supporting them and supported the base of players that love them, but we know that they can make great games, great content, and we're going to just keep turning them loose to do that, except with our brand and our name. And we're going to just keep turning that out.
So what I was looking up is apparently their IP is supposed to release. They're shooting for 2025, and I don't see what type of game it is going to be. So it may not be the puzzle platform thing. What I was talking about that's different is they're doing something that's supposed to be comedic and lighthearted and whimsical. It's not going to be like the
dark and broody and moody.
Yes, they're not going for that. They want to
Brooding,
do something different. That's more. It says they literally use the word whimsical because in their job
Ratchet
posting.
and Clank, something
or
like that.
Well,
Fable.
I don't know if it's going to be a
Or they pull a
platformer,
Fable.
but maybe.
You know? I mean, Fable's kind of funny, and that new IP is coming out on Microsoft.
Yeah.
That's-
So
I think it's
but it's called
Peter
Matter. That's the only image they have for it. Is this
or hold
plain
that up
spatter?
to the camera.
It's called.
Ooh.
Can we see it
There
that
it
way?
is.
Matter. But they're shooting for 2025. So already buying Bungie, Sony knows they have a new IP coming on the way.
Yeah.
Plus Destiny, the sales from that.
Well, and I was going to say, I mean, it seems like they have a healthy community in Destiny that still plays it and still enjoys it and loves it. I just, I don't know. The Destiny ship for me sold a long time ago. I know you're still into it. I think that's awesome.
Oh no, I just got literally 2 weeks ago started playing it again.
I've been wanting to, so maybe I will. Now that the PS5 upgrade's there, it's 4K 60p.
That's kind of why
And
because they have a
does it
PS5
look
upgrade.
good?
It's
I
beautiful.
played it since the update, but I haven't gotten back into it. And that was just because
And here's the
when I
thing,
did
if I
the
bought
visuals
currencies,
and
Destiny
the frame
2,
rate
the
are
currencies
great.
in
You
the
don't have
game
to
are
buy
just
it.
ridiculous.
Just play all
Like,
the
No,
there's
but
stuff.
I
100
bought
different
Destiny
currencies.
2 back when it came out. So I have the backwards compatible version, which I guess, did they do a free upgrade for PS5?
Yeah, I didn't pay nothing.
Okay,
for
so
it.
then-
because it's free unless you buy the expansion.
Well,
so
that's
it's
what I'm saying. I
automatically
don't know. I
whole-
guess so everything
The
up
whole
until...
game is free.
free. Yeah.
What?
You don't have to have ever bought Destiny. You can download Destiny 2
For free.
for free with all the expansions
What?
up to
you just
Beyond
can't get
Light.
Yeah, you just can't get Beyond Light or the Witch Queen without paying
Yeah,
for them.
it puts you in the
Wow.
game and starts you at Light 700.
Yeah.
Like right from the start.
Now that is crazy. Because I remember when Destiny 2 came out, they had that thing that you
Well,
could-
actually, now it's Light 1. I think it's 110.
Does it start
It's
you
one-
at that?
Yes, because they bumped my character up to that. And now
Okay.
you start at because the light cap now is like 3,000. It's crazy.
Oh, Jesus.
See, but
Yeah,
that's what's
or
crazy.
2,000, so-
I mean, some of those are just... To me, it was like when Final Fantasy X jumped from 9,999 being the damage limit to 99,999, and then it went above 100,000 in Final Fantasy 13. And I'm like, but if the enemies are stronger, it's like, does it really matter? It's just you're
Well, someone who's been
improving-
playing from the beginning, I guess they're not going to be, well, now we're taking you back to level 1.
Well, no.
It's like
and I get
people
that.
would complain, even though technically it's no different. I mean, the starting light
that's-
level is level 1.
Exactly. That's what I'm
So-
like. At some point, you're just kind of adding on numbers to say, yeah, we're still keeping it at this light level. But it's arbitrary based on where you're at in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. And to me, it still is kind of grindy. I may download it just to see
Well,
the
yeah.
visuals, but I
But
don't
I
know
mean,
if I'd
that's
jump
that's
back in.
what
But
it's what
Destiny
it's
had
for.
great multiplayer. Like
Yeah.
I think Destiny multiplayer is
Well,
awesome.
and
It's
that
still
was never my
it's still
issue.
limited to
Oh,
how many players,
They
but
brought back the Vault of Glass raid too.
I knew they did that a while ago.
Yeah, well, I didn't know because I was excited.
Yeah.
All I know
It was
is
like their best
Destiny 2, and even the original Destiny, the actual shooting mechanics and the gameplay never. That wasn't what bothered me. It was, what am I doing it for? And I just never felt the actual action was varied enough. I never felt the story beats or like the raids were the only thing that interested me enough because it wasn't
They were
just
complicated.
They were
Yeah.
complicated. They added a little bit of nuance to how you battled or moved from one area to the next. But the problem with those is they were so freaking hard. And granted, they were rewarding, but it was like everything that we did that was.
Well, that's because
Hey.
we played with 3 or 4 people, and
You
they're meant to have
also
6.
you had to have 6, and now they do have raids with matchmaking, which they didn't have back when we
Yeah.
were playing.
which is crazy to
But
me.
Yeah.
still, even with matchmaking, you're talking about 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
See, and that's
To beat a
that-
raid.
Yeah, and even then,
It's
I'm
a fun
just like,
Friday night.
it would be, and I know that some people's things. It's just
Yeah.
like, to me, it's still the idea of I got to grind to get this better gear, And that's the point.
And that's what people like. Yeah. I mean, it's not for everybody, but people love. I mean, I had a friend when I worked at Bob Evans. He loved grinding. He loved having to collect thousands of little materials and games just to build armor. And some people love that. And I think if you're invested in the world enough, it's fine. But sometimes it's just like, man, I don't have the time for that anymore. I just got to move on to something else.
Right. Like after a while, I just kind of feel like, okay, I'm wasting my time here. I don't know why I'm spending so much time doing this when there's other stories, other games I can play.
Just whatever you have the most fun doing.
True.
You know?
And that's what I'll do. Eventually, it's like I'll move on just because I'm like, okay, it's not worth my time. But I didn't know it was free. That is surprising to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what else Bungie has to offer. Rather than because they
have to wait.
We can at least say that
another 3 years.
Well, but that's the thing. Think about it. Now, I think the original Destiny did come out in 2013 or shortly thereafter. So it will have been about a 10-year run that Bungie has exclusively been working on Destiny.
And they said they're not dropping support for Destiny. They said they want to be a multi-IP company. They don't want to just because before they only did Halo, and before Halo, I think it was I forget what the property was. That was before Halo, but you had Halo and then Destiny. Now they're like, well, we want to be able to work on more than one game at a time.
Yeah,
and that comes with becoming
that's a lot. That's a lot of bigger publishers out there and a lot and a lot of bigger developers. I mean, Naughty Dog that's hinting at they're not. They were like, we may not be done with The Last of Us, but we're working on 2 things right now, and it's like. Everybody's eager to find out what it is.
Look at Rockstar. I mean, people's complaints about you get GTA and then Red Dead and then because they've only kind of worked at one at a time, and now as companies get bigger and if
they also have different like Rockstar North.
They do.
Rockstar,
they have the different.
Yeah, they have the different
to work on different stuff. But I mean, the bigger the company gets, the more they're able to do that. And Sony buying Bungie allows them even more to be able to develop multiple IPs because now they have money.
Well,
and
I think that
resources.
was one of the things they actually said. After the buyout was that they were just like, this just gives us an opportunity to put more into the IPs that we love and are already working on. It just gives us more firepower.
And Sony did also come out and state that Destiny would still be multi-platform. I love how they always come out and say, guys, they'll still be multi-platform.
I do see Sony, though, as being the company that will definitely be the first one to be like, no, that's going to be exclusive.
Oh, I'm sure
Microsoft's not going to do that because they've pigeonholed themselves into being.
I'm sure Matter's not going to come out multi-platform now.
No,
I don't think Destiny, at least, as long as whatever contracts are in place, will stay multi-platform. Now, once those contracts are up, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Alrighty, guys, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Red Moon Podcast. Yeah. Thank you all so much for tuning in. But like always, right there at the bottom of our screen, all of our social media accounts, Red Moon Book, Red Moon Tweet, Red Moon Picks, and search for Red Moon Productions on YouTube. Thank you all. Like, share, subscribe. We appreciate all the support we can get. And Keith is repping the beer that we drank tonight. Pretty good beer.
I'll rep it too.
Yeah, he's
an empty glass.
Done.
It was a good beer.
It's good.
Oh my goodness!
God.
See, she knows.
It's the end of the show, and she's like,
Edie
down. There
Get
we are.
Down, Edie.
There.
man,
she's
knocked over the
Yeah.
iPad. Oh, now she's moving to Sean.
I don't play.
Come here, Edie.
I'll push her down.
Come here, pup. There you go. But you know one other thing we forgot to mention?
Death.
Our lovely email, RMPodcast at redmoonproductions.com. Right there at the bottom of your screen. You can check us out, do the old-fashioned thing.
I was going to say, nobody actually died this week. It's a great thing.
Actually, yeah, they did.
Oh, man.
I meant to send you all the article, but I didn't have
died?
time. It was a visual effects supervisor for...
Well, they're not famous. I don't know.
Yes, they are.
I'm yawning.
For Ridley Scott's... The
Last Duel.
No. Damn it. Back in the day.
They're so famous.
Blade Runner.
They're so famous, he knows the name in the movie.
I watched Gladiator the other night.
All right, yeah. And you know what? Frank Oz doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's not famous either.
See, it's such a...
Actually, people,
you're a dick.
People
Jim
know
Henson.
the name Frank Oz. Who knows the name of Blade Runner special effects dude?
The people in the industry that
Yeah.
matter.
Well, yeah.
Who come on here and crap all over Hollywood. And then the
thing.
people who actually make Hollywood a thing every day.
Here's
they
the
don't
thing.
matter.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
And they don't matter because
Jerk.
Keith's never heard of them.
Exactly.
The industry,
Jerk.
of course, knows them.
Email us at rmpodcast@raymondproductions.com.
No, I do care.
But don't
I just like
talk
to be an ass.
don't talk to Keith. He doesn't deserve your attention.
No, I do want to look at who it is now because
Alrighty, guys, that's gonna do it. Keith's gonna go find some.
I'm going to suspend myself for 2 weeks and take time to reflect
He's
on
gonna
what
feel
I've
bad.
said. I will take time to learn about the special effects guy and,
we need
and really reflect on what I've
We
said.
need a TikTok apology.
we need to post it to our Instagram. Alrighty, guys. Until next time, I'm one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian.
And
Keith Cheatham.
bye.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. For more reviews, previous podcast shows, and everything Red Moon, visit our website, redmoonproductions.com. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for Red Moon Productions, LLC. We'll see you at the movies.